You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit.
WGPR Detroit, HD2.
The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
My name is Watson.
And my name is Mariah.
We're 12 years old.
And we're representing Redford Academy Middle School.
And we're here to talk about drugs.
Drugs are very dangerous and unhealthy.
And they can also ruin a relationship with your loved ones.
Go talk to a family member, a friend, even a teacher, or you can go to a therapist, or if you need any extra help, you can go online and find all of those.
Hashtag not worth it.
Good day, good people, and welcome to Expose Under the Sun. I am your personal change coach, Heather Heteru, hiding behind the mask today. And I just want to let you know we are so glad that you could join us today. This is our bi-weekly show, and I am your host for this week, Heather Heteru, personal change coach, and my co-host the opposite week is Darwin Griffin. So hopefully you're following us and listening up every week at Tuesday and 2:30 that we could have a chance to connect. So looking forward to seeing you there. And I want to talk to you about our special guest today. Our subject matter is about the celebration of Fatherhood Unity Month, rebranding the month of June to look more closely at the meaning, purpose, and the celebrating of our fathers. So my guest in the studio today is Calvin T. Mann.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here to talk about fatherhood.
Thank you for that. So I want to give special thanks first to our executive producer, Sharon Dumas, for our awesome engineer, Patrick, who keeps us flowing every day, and for Detroit Native Sun newspaper, who is our sponsor for this show. And if you are looking for advertising, are you looking to advertise an event, a new product or service, then Detroit Native Sun News might be the place for you. If you need more information about pricing and about how to get that information out to the public, reach out to Valerie at 313-457-5944. Again, that's Valerie at 313-457-5944. And so as we always start our show, we talk about two things. One, the very important matter of 2022 being a manifesting year. Very important to those of us who are looking forward to creating a new circumstance, to creating a new chapter in our life, and to really reach our next level. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We also are going to talk about ways to find your joy. So we have a challenge, a monthly challenge, that everyone is supposed to be trying to find 10 ways within a month that you can find and express and experience your joy. It's really important to your mental health and your wellness, your overall wellness, to find ways to make you feel better. And so we do that through using our challenge of finding your joy. So I always start with my 3. And so, I have, by the end of the month, I have quite a big list, and I try not to repeat. So these are my 3 ways of finding joy for this episode. My first one is taking a nice brisk walk. I started walking recently and started walking at a park. I would normally walk around my block, but now I'm actually going to the park and walking. And even though there's a carved out path, every time I take a lap around the park, I find something new to experience. And so a walk around the park is one of the ways I find my joy. A second way is that I love to sit up under a tree and just be still and watch the nature around me just being embraced by it. Just the time that you can take just having that moment for yourself and being connected in ways that, our busy schedules sometimes don't allow. And then my third way of finding my joy, and I'm sure there are people who are going to also love this way. I love a good strawberry shake. That's one of the ways that I find my joy. I find a strawberry shake and I enjoy that for myself. But it really is something that I do that makes me feel good. It makes me feel better. And yes, sometimes if you drink too fast, it causes brain freeze. So, Kelvin, welcome again. And my question for you to start off the show is, give us some ways that you find your joy.
Mine is information. I find a lot of joy in researching, finding new information, reading, um, grabbing new information. One of my other joys is talking to you,
Oh, thank you.
right? And talking to you. And another one is really one of my biggest joys is talking to my kids every day,
Okay.
making sure that there's some kind of conversation or see where they are, morning, evening, doesn't matter. Those are my joys for me. If it's one for myself, it has to be, I done turned into this shoe guy. I don't know where that come from, but I want more shoes, right? And so other than that, that's pretty much it for me.
So, do you find that finding your joy helps you also to release and relieve stress?
Um, I don't know if I give stress that much credit.
Okay.
I think that most of the time I get stressed out it's for a need, and I'm starting to turn those over to God.
Okay.
But other than that, it comes. I can't give stress that much credit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I just find those things to be, for me, those are the things that I find myself to enjoy.
Okay. Thank you. So, we're going to get right into some really good conversation around rebranding the month of June to Fatherhood Unity Month. Tell us a little bit about that.
So quite a few years ago, the one thing that I noticed was that there was a lack of celebration for dads, right? And I noticed that myself as a young father, but more importantly, coming into the month of June, I was always looking at things a certain way, like really the importance of fathers is bigger than one day. And a lot of times we just don't really get what we deserve that day. So I decided, hey, why not make the whole month about us, right? And so looking forward to the new interviews and things like that that's coming down the pipe. And just every day talking about something different about fathers and how important dads really are and how we can make that difference, right? And how that's what's missing, right? If you talk about what is causing the problems from absent fathers, how about we solve some of the problems with present fathers?
All right. Yes.
And so we, as a society, a lot of times we're not willing to give up certain things. We don't want to give up the position in saying and acknowledging that dads are very, very powerful. Well, I'm in this fight for you to give up that position. Dads are the closest thing to God in my book.
All right. Well, thank you. So, tell us a little bit about other fatherhood groups, because it almost seems like if you're not in the intimate circle, that you may not know how many fatherhood groups there are around the country. And I know that you're connected to a lot of them.
So there are over 300 fatherhood groups.
Okay.
And on Father's Day in Washington, D.C., there are about 200 fatherhood organizations come together. There's an organization called Black Fathers that has 100,000 fathers talking every day. Good Fathers Only, we celebrate fatherhood. You have a number of fatherhood programs. You have Willie Bell, you have Cole Williams, Sean Hart, John Miles, my guy John Miles. I mean, like, you have so many. There's a new organization out right now on fatherhood that's coming together. We're part of the Fatherhood Policy Group. where we're going to take on some policies. There's John Nichols with Michigan Shared Parenting Act and crew. There are a number of fatherhood organizations, the Ohio Fatherhood Coalition, which actually is funded by the state. The state actually funds fatherhood in Ohio.
Wow.
Right? There are a number of fatherhood organizations, but there are only 3 shared parenting states in the United States. And that's something that has to change, because the statistics have come out that shared parenting is the closest thing to having both parents in the home.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. So tell us some ways that fathers can be celebrated in families and in communities.
That's one, love on them. Tell dad, he's important. Recognize his importance. Hug him. Celebrate your dad. Take him out. Take him to dinner. Celebrate your dad by, going to Good Fathers Only and getting a T-shirt.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
Celebrate your dad with shoes and hats and suits, and take your dad out and let him do his favorite thing. Men, we're kind of simple, and I want to bring men out of that. Like, we should be celebrated. A friend of mine was telling me how they used to celebrate her dad, when he was alive, and they celebrated him in a great way. Made sure that everybody came together and celebrated him just as much as they celebrated their mom. And so on Father's Day, their dad was, validated and celebrated with the same hoopla. They didn't let him feel like society has us feeling. If you want fatherhood to improve, if you want men to be in their kids' life, if you want a society where fathers are healthy, and if you want dads to be healthy, if you want dads to be validated, if you want dads to be in your life, you have to celebrate them. Even the Bible tells us to value fathers.
All right. Wow. Thank you. So I'm hearing that as families, that we celebrate like we do holidays. I mean, like we do Christmas. I mean, we celebrate Christmas with gifts and giving and recognition that somebody has lived, right?
Yeah.
That the gift of giving is important. It's important to our unity as a family. It's important to our unity as a community that we do celebrate even small benchmarks. So how about for some of the families out there or members of the community who have negative experiences with fatherhood? Do we still want to celebrate them?
So the negative experiences, I believe you have to get 2 sides. Mm-hmm. See, too many times children only have one side of the story. Even adults, you only have one side of the story. One of the biggest issues that I find within culturally within the city, where in communities where there's violence, there's usually the fact that there's an absent dad involved. And so we've told a lot of lies. Recently I had a father, because we're working on the Fatherhood movie, recently I had a father who, came to me, and he got something that a lot of men don't get. The grandmother wanted custody of the boy so bad she told 100,000 lies to the kid. So the kid ends up in prison, right? And so she reaches back out to the dad and asks the dad to get involved. And statistically, even with the new information on shared parenting, this is what happens to our children. It is after they're 18 that there is some interaction with the parent, right? The absent parent, or the parent that couldn't be involved, a parental alienated parent, right? Mm-hmm. We find that there are a lot of lies. We're very forgiving to the controlling parent, but the parent that didn't have control, we're not forgiving. We're not so forgiving. And so what we can do is reach out. Even if you haven't seen your dad and you want to know what happened, you got to get his side of the story, because generally the person or the parent that was alienated is not who you've been told they were. Parental alienation it caused a lot of damage. It's caused a lot of murders. It's caused a lot of rapes. It's caused a lot of violence. Parental alienation is a big contributor to the violence that we see daily, right? From courts to, interaction with police officers, even there, right? You got to understand that there are several types of people who have been alienated from their dads, and all you got to do sometimes is just reach out and ask. Some dads are angry. Like friends of mine, their dad was angry because they believed everything she said. And so they like, Cal, they didn't got older, and they've come to me and asked me, what was my dad like? And they're just like their dad. And they're good fathers, just like their dad was, but they don't have the poor scenario that was given to them. They were told all kind of stuff.
Right.
But they're good dads, just like their dad was, until they were told otherwise.
I do want to talk more about some other dynamics around reasons that we should also celebrate fathers. So I know you've done a lot of research, and you've seen that by having an involved father, one, it's healthy for both the father, for the children, and for that unit.
Yes.
Even if you're not in the home.
Yes.
The goal is to have a healthy father and healthy mother in the home for healthy children.
Yes.
So we know that in our community we have a lot of other concerns. We have mental health concerns
Yes.
that impact our ability to be healthy
Yes.
and stable parents. So as we deal with those symptoms, I believe that it also helps us to change our perspective on our parents and what's healthy for us and what's healthy for them and our families and communities. What's your thoughts on that?
So, yesterday I sent an email to Dr. David Pate and Dr. Linda Nelson. I sent emails out yesterday during the holiday to ask. I believe something is happening to our people and our children when it comes to cognitive health when the father is not present. I believe something is happening at the womb. We already know that infant mortality, fatherhood, plays a huge part in infant mortality not being an issue. When you look at the different cities and the different states where the absent father is not present, infant mortality is very high. So miscarriages, those types of things occur. Of course, we still have miscarriages when two parents are together, but the stress on the child when the father's not present, the object of dad not being there, something is happening to our children, in particular to our boys, when the father is not present. I've asked for help to do the research on that, finding out what is happening cognitively to our children when the dad is not present. Of course, like I said, we know about infant mortality. The other part that goes along with the question that you asked is that generally what we see are a conditioning of the issues being just placed on the dad, right? We're very comfortable in saying, Dad's not here. Dad didn't do this, right? You hear, even if the dad is present, you hear, I'm a single parent. You're not a single parent. You're only a single parent on taxes. You're not a single parent if the dad is involved. We like to say we did all this work. We take on a lot of things, but not realizing what is happening to us physically, spiritually, when you're not present in your kid's life, when you're not there. And I know I kind of lost my way on your question.
No, you're good.
Right.
You're good.
But
so we're talking about kind of reasons why we should celebrate our fathers.
You have to, right? Here is one, right? I'll give you these three, right?
Okay.
One is language, speaking. When a father's present, he doesn't baby talk. So the child develops correct, speaking correct, the whole nine. That's something that dads bring to the table. When dad is in his child's life from 0 to 3, from birth to 3, the dad stays in the child's life, which takes us back to the infant mortality conversation, and it takes us back to we have a syndrome where at a certain point in time, because there's a check usually attached to the system, if you're having a child on the system, at a certain point in time, we always seem to fall apart. That is something that I see. So when dads are involved educationally, the son and the daughter has a higher educational achievement level. So these are just a few of the things when dads are involved with their children, how it goes. And another thing, another reason to celebrate, a lot of us, we have a lot of emotional boys. We have a lot of emotional boys. They're raised in an environment where emotion is very high. And if the dad is not present, there's no balance. So we have a lot of emotional boys, which makes us reactive, which makes us volatile, which makes us violent.
Right.
You see?
Yes.
Right? And so in that process, if dad's there, dad can tell you how to, settle down, right? You can't be so volatile, right? You got to be able to pay attention. Plan. These are some of the things that dad should be celebrated for. And then I got a big one at the end that I'll deliver.
Okay. So my next question is, first, congratulations on these 2 new books that you have coming out around fatherhood. Yes. So I'm really
Yes.
excited to see that reach the hands of people who really need this information. Can you tell us a little bit about the 2 new books you have coming out?
So, yes, the one book is the 15 Things You Didn't Know About Fatherhood, which, we will get into those things. And in the book, I get in depth and we share those things so you can have an idea of these are the 15 things you didn't know and how dads are impacted during the pregnancy. I remember my daughter telling me, man, y'all don't participate in nothing, Well, it turns out that's a lie, right? And so dads who are active, really participate. But the 15 things is the first one, and the second one is things fathers should say. It's a book for mothers who have sons. We have to work at breaking that up, that bond, because we have too many sons that should be husbands partaking in their mom's life to an extent that they never move away, right? So these are things fathers should say because we have a dependency on our sons, and it's almost spooky to recognize that our sons kind of replace a mate in our lives,
yes,
right?
yes.
And that because we didn't want him to be a man, or maybe we didn't want him to be like his dad. But in the process, we are systematically hurting a lot of males, and so therefore they're absent. And you see a lot of absent males, and you see males who can't have relationships because they are just directly impacted by their moms, so they can't function without their moms, right? And so a lot of people call it mama's boys, whatever you want to call it. The truth of the matter is the Bible tells us that a man should move away from his parents, and he should have a plan, and he should be able to lead. And those things are impacted when our daughters are taking off, they're spreading, right? And just over the last 20 years, you've seen our daughters become doctors, lawyers, engineers, all these things, but you've seen our sons become what? Where's their economy? It's not even couch potatoes. They become the mother's mate. And so therefore the son doesn't seek a marriage or a relationship. He's very comfortable in his place, and that's just one of the things, one of the symptoms of his economy that is affecting us culturally.
Thank you. So When should we expect your releases? And can we do pre-orders of those books?
Well, we're going to do some pre-orders. We're finalizing the details and of the books, and one of them will be a book and an ebook, and the other one will just be, a book right around like Chicken Soup for the Soul. It's just so important that this manual ends up in the hands of mothers with sons, and so the sons can get some information, and we can learn more about how important dads really are. We have a society that if you cut on the TV, you have very few images of healthy fatherhood. If you, you know what I mean, you have to go in the back channels to see that. Even the shows and the talk shows right, you have very few images. You cannot replace men. I'll be the first to tell you that. You have nothing without men. There's never been a world where you can't replace men. What you have to do, and this is on men as well, we have to get better at being better and being in our relationships and caring for our families in a better way, because taking steps backwards as males and being angry is just not a healthy way for us to have families.
Well, thank you. I am so excited about the release of those books. As a mom and as a personal change coach and working with women, moms, communities, these tools are so essential for us to have we need something to help us to shake up our systems, because what we're doing so far doesn't seem to be working. We're losing our children, we're losing our own mental wellness, and we're losing our families. Our families are the anchors of our community, and so our community wellness begins with the family and begins with us as individuals. So I'm really excited about that.
We're not counting on it just being something that we're doing that work. So yeah, you can say we are doing the work, right? And more of us can do the work and move into a space and move us into, instead of using our words to always condemn, we can most definitely, we see some bright spots in the work that we do, and we can share those bright spots. Those are bright spots that we're very proud of, and we're going to multiply that nationally. So I just had to throw that in there. You'd like to do the same thing, so I had to give it to you this time.
Okay, so thank you for that. So tell us how we can reach you and Good Fathers Only and Emmy Incorporated. So give us some numbers, give us some websites, give us some email addresses. How do we connect? Where can we find you?
You can find on Fatherhood, you can find us at info@thegoodfathersonly.com. And I am excited about that. Mm-hmm. You can reach us at Emmy World, where we are doing some tremendous work with info at emmyworld.com, right?
Okay.
And you
give
can
us
call.
one number, please.
You can call 313-638-3649, and we'll answer. And go support us, donate, right? Go to emmyworld.com and donate. We're doing some beautiful things.
And you've heard it here on our community wellness segment in our expose Under the Sun. I am your personal change coach and host this week of Expose Under the Sun. Again, if you need sponsorship, if you want to talk about events, please reach out to Valerie at 313-457-5944, and look forward to next week, our co-host Darren Griffin, as he hosts Expose Under the Sun, bringing you community news, and look forward to seeing you that following week. Thank you. We are so grateful to be here. You can reach out to me at yourinspiredjourney.com for other questions. Thank you.